Welcome to another Explainer. Today, we're going to completely unpack the societal impacts of our digital lives. We're taking the source chapter and transforming it into your very own personal survival guide for the modern era. Just think about how completely intertwined our everyday lives are with technology now. It's fantastic for sure, but it definitely comes with a whole new set of responsibilities. So, let's dive right in.
Let's start things off with this really provocative thought from the late physicist Stephen Hawking. He said, "I think computer viruses should count as life. I think it says something about human nature that the only form of life we have created so far is purely destructive. We've created life in our own image. That perfectly captures the incredible power and honestly the potential danger of the digital world we've built. We're the creators of this landscape, and the tools we make can either build up our society or completely tear it down."
To navigate this, we'll follow a quick roadmap. First, the digital world today. Then, tracking your digital footprint, essential digital etiquettes, Creative Commons and sharing, cybercrime and data protection, and finally, e-waste and our environment.
Okay, part 1. The digital world today. From letters to instant connection.
Think back a bit. A physical letter used to literally take days, sometimes weeks to arrive, and every single recipient needed their own individual handwritten copy. But today, smartphones and high-speed internet let us connect instantaneously. You hit send, and an email reaches hundreds of people in a fraction of a second. From the banking industry to aviation, industrial production, and e-commerce, our ability to just bank, shop, and communicate instantly has made us so dramatically more efficient. The sheer convenience of it all is just staggering.
Section 2. Tracking your digital footprint. The trail you leave behind.
So a digital footprint is exactly what it sounds like. It's the trail of data reflecting the activities we perform online whenever we surf the internet. Ask yourself right now, what was your last online purchase? Or your last web search? Or that random comment you left on a video? Every single click, every streaming video, every response creates a permanent digital footprint. The source material actually asks a really compelling question here. Can your digital footprints be used to judge your attitude and work ethics? Well, the reality is, yes. They absolutely can. Employers and peers can, and definitely do, look at this trail.
It's kind of wild when you realize just how routine this data creation really is. Whether you're just mindlessly scrolling through your Facebook feed or uploading a collaborative doc to Google Drive, you're actively generating data that remains tied to you permanently. It's this continuous, ongoing process that just happens seamlessly in the background of our lives.
Moving on to Section 3, Essential Digital Etiquettes. Basically the rules of the digital road.
Look, just like in the real world, the net has rules. First off, be ethical. Don't use copyrighted material without the creator's permission. Second, respect diversity. When you're in a public forum, you absolutely must respect the diversity of people in terms of their knowledge, experience, and culture. And third, be responsible. Never, ever engage in cyberbullying. Oh, and here's a massive rule for the internet. Don't feed the trolls. Trolls deliberately sow discord just to get a reaction. Since they thrive on attention, the absolute best way to shut them down is simply to ignore them.
Now, when you're sending an email or chatting, we also need communication etiquettes. Step 1. Be precise. Respect other people's time by not sending unnecessary messages, and don't expect an instant response to everything. Step 2 is easy, just be polite. And Step 3 is crucial, be credible. You have to protect your own credibility over time by verifying what you actually post. Keep in mind, your history of comments on discussion forums totally dictates how seriously people are going to take you in the future.
When it comes to social media, obviously choose your passwords wisely and be super careful about who you befriend. You also need to watch out for fake information. But the golden rule? You've got to remember that no permanent deletion actually exists online. You might think you deleted a comment or an embarrassing image, but it is recorded in your digital footprint. In fact, culprits who engage in illegal activities are often tracked down precisely because of this. So always, always think before you hit upload.
All right, Section 4, Creative Commons and sharing, navigating those tricky copyrights.
Creative Commons, or CC, is a brilliant nonprofit organization that provides a standardized, globally recognized way for creators to grant permission for their academic or creative works to be used freely. This is amazing because it lets anyone across the globe access, share, and build upon existing work without infringing on intellectual property rights, all while still fully applying copyright law. It's a total win-win for creators and users alike.
But you really have to understand the difference between the licenses. CC BY, which stands for attribution, simply requires you to credit the original creator when you distribute or tweak their work. But CC BY/SA, or attribution share alike, goes a big step further. It means that if you remix or build upon the work, your brand new creation has to carry the exact same license terms as the original. It essentially forces the new work to remain open and shareable forever.
Section 5. Cybercrime and Data Protection. How to defend your data.
Now, the term hacking usually gets a completely negative reputation, but we need to make an important distinction here. Traditional malicious hacking involves unauthorized access, breaking into systems to exploit bugs for personal gain or to cause damage. But ethical hacking? That's entirely different. These are white-hat hackers who do the exact same technical work, but they do it with permission. Their whole goal is to discover security loopholes so owners can fix them before a real cyber attack happens. They're essentially the internet's defense testers.
You also have to be heavily on guard against phishing. This is an unlawful activity where criminals use fake websites or forged emails, which is known as email spoofing, that look completely authentic. You might get an email that looks exactly like it's from your bank or your university, trying to trick you into fraudulently handing over sensitive personal details like your passwords and banking info. Always, always double-check the sender's address.
To fight back against these evolving menaces of fraud and cyberbullying, legal frameworks are absolutely essential. The source highlights India's Information Technology Act, enacted in 2000 and heavily amended in 2008. Laws like the IT Act provide strict guidelines on exactly how sensitive personal data has to be processed, stored, and transmitted. Ultimately, it aims to safeguard internet users and give them actual legal recourse against cybercrimes.
And finally, Section 6, e-waste in our environment, the real physical cost of all this tech.
Electronic waste, or e-waste, is causing some seriously terrifying environmental degradation. When our tech is improperly disposed of, it leads to the atmospheric emission of toxic gases and fumes, and dangerous liquid waste gets discharged right into our drains. This leads to something called leaching, which is a hazardous process where water literally washes dangerous toxic substances out of discarded tech and straight into the soil. In fact, non-functioning cathode ray tubes, or CRTs, from those old bulky monitors are specifically identified as highly hazardous materials. The physical cost of our constant tech upgrades is massive.
So, here's the big question I want to leave you with today. Knowing that your invisible digital footprint is literally forever, and knowing that your physical devices eventually become environmental hazards, how are you going to manage your role as you navigate your connected life moving forward? How will you balance these incredible, instantaneous digital conveniences with your physical, ethical, and environmental responsibilities? Take some time to think on that, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.